Hello, my name is Logan Smith, and welcome to Cavaliers Corner for women's soccer. To my right is head coach Dave Renard, and Dave, you only had one game this past week. It was against Findlay. Kind of a tricky team. Their record's deceiving by playing Grand Valley and two Division I schools already this year. But talk about the game, a 3-2 win. Very exciting game to watch for the fans.
Yeah, first off, I think Findlay is a tremendous team, and like you said, their record doesn't really indicate the type of team that they are. I think they're gonna, really move up the table as the season goes on. They had a great attack, probably the best attacking team we've seen to this point. Luckily, we were able to put 3 goals. It's not too often that we give up 2 goals, but luckily we were able to get that third one in late in the game. As you said, it was a grind. Our last 5 GLIAC games, they've all been a grind. We expect the same thing, in the coming weeks, but luckily we've been able to pull out a few wins in the last couple weekends.
Now we start that game off. Conti scores a goal. It's her 6th of the season. Then that was early in the first half. Second half, a very similar start where Conti scores, gives you guys a 2-0 lead. How do you coach the rest of the game like that? And then noticing that Findlay's attacks are starting to go through. They get the goal. 1-goal deficit, tie it up at 2-2. What's your thoughts going through that second half?
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed. First off, Kristen Conti, we're really starting to see that she's coming into stride. She's starting to look like the Kristen Conti that we saw late in the season. That was really putting a lot of goals on the board. But I was a little disappointed that we go up to, we went up 2-0. At that point, we went back to play a little bit more defensive. We should be able to see the game out at that point, up 2-0. Unfortunately, we let them back in. At that point, we made another adjustment to move into a 4-4-2, and Jesse and Kristen up top has really been challenging for some defenses, and they were coming for the win, and they were sending numbers forward, and it kind of left them exposed in the back, and lucky Jesse was able to put one in there at the end.
So say Jesse had a one-on-one opportunity right there with 5 minutes left, puts it in. Now Jesse Gerhardt and Kristen Conti now have 7 goals each. That is, at least after that game, was tied for second in the conference with a couple others, I believe. The offense just seems to be really coming through right now.
Yeah, and those two are a handful. Jessie, we've pulled her back into the midfield, but she's still getting just as many opportunities from that spot. And she's just extremely valuable to us. We're asking her to defend hard in the midfield, win balls in the air. She's very important on defending set pieces, things like that. So we do ask a lot out of her, but she's also been able to put 7 goals on the board, and she's also been able to help facilitate helping Kristen get goals. But really, I attribute a lot to the grind that our center mids are putting in, our midfielders are putting in. We've got Corinne Swift, Maddie Strasball that are really putting a lot of work in the midfield, breaking things up, winning a lot of balls, facilitating things for our attackers. Emily Durina, she's somebody that hasn't been scoring as many goals as we've seen in the past, but she's been as valuable to our team as anybody has been to this point.
On past years, too, she's always been well at passing the ball, one of the top assist leaders in the conference last year as well.
Yeah, and a lot, she's still got that attacking mindset, whereas we're putting her more in a defensive role. But at the same time, when she wins it, she's looking to be dangerous. So you see her, she's putting in the dirty work, but at the same time, she's always looking up to find that dangerous pass to feed Kristen or whoever may be up front.
Now this weekend, you're coming off of 3 wins at home. Now you go back on the road. Kind of an odd road trip where it's split between a Michigan team and a local team in Lake Erie. You go to Saginaw Valley first on Friday, and then obviously you have Lake Erie on Sunday. How does that road trip differ from past years in terms of planning and then getting prepared for both those teams?
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd weekend for us where typically we're home for 2 games or we're away for the entire weekend for 2 games. In this example, we're at Saginaw. We head out Thursday and we play Friday, and we'll be coming home Friday. We'll still have Saturday off, and then we're hopping in vans and heading out to Lake Erie.
Now, is that a kind of a pro, I guess, as opposed to a con?
I think it's a pro in that we get to come home, relax on Saturday. Kids can go home and spend time with the family or just relax in their dorm rooms as opposed to being away for the weekend.
How do you prepare for these 2 teams, and what do they look like so far this season?
Saginaw is always dangerous. They've had kind of a slow start to this point, but they're a team that was nationally ranked throughout all last season. Won a national tournament game last year, and they really had all the same players back. So, we're seeing that they're defending hard as a team. They're getting lots of shots. They just haven't been putting the ball in the back of the net. So it's a dangerous game for us, but at the same time, I think it's a winnable game for us. It's a game that our kids are excited about, but we're going to have to continue, to put defense first and look to put some goals on the board. But I do expect them to be a dangerous team.
Well, and Lake Erie, it's always tough going up there. They play on a different type of field with the field turf, smaller field as well. How's that going to work out for you?
Yeah, we've struggled there in the past, and it's a narrow turf, which and they've got some nice players that plays well into, and they've kind of started on a slow note to start the season, but they've also played some of the top teams in the GLIAC to start off. So we'll get a scouting report on them and make sure that we're prepared, and we know that they've got some really good speed up top that we'll have to contend with, and they're well coached, and so that'll be another tough one. I expect these two games to be very close and similar to the games we've seen in the first 5 games of the GLIAC so far.
Sounds good. Well, good luck this weekend. Hopefully we'll be back next week talking about a couple more wins or results at least. And yeah, we'll be talking to you next week.
Thank you.
My name's Logan Smith. This is Dave Renard, and thank you for watching Cavaliers Corner for Women's Soccer.